Hello shamans of the Vultures. Today I want to show you how to totem twist, or rather the basics of totem twisting. I don't play a shaman as a main, so there are probably better or more efficient ways to do it, maybe even ways I don't know about out there. But I want to show you the basics of what I know about totem twisting to increase our speed and rates and increase the damage we can do without wiping on certain bosses that are very threat sensitive. So let's get on with it. Essentially, there are 3 totems that we want to be twisting. In a tank group, we want to be using Wind Fury Totem, which gives you the Wind Fury buff. Each hit has 20% chance of granting the attacker 1 extra attack with some extra melee attack power. We want to give this to especially the tanks to enable them to keep aggro. As you can see, the Wind Fury Totem gives me a buff for about 9 seconds. When it hits about 4 seconds, it goes back up to 9. So it keeps rebuffing me as the totem is still standing. Now if we use this totem, we're gonna have this buff for 9 seconds. And in those 9 seconds, we could be using another totem of the same school without losing the buff. So let's try with Wind Fury Totem and Grace of Air Totem. We use Wind Fury first, and then when the global cooldown is done, we use Grace of Air Totem immediately. Now you can see that we have both the Wind Fury buff and the Grace of Air. So we have that extra agility, giving everybody in the group some extra crit. Now this is really good for threat production for the tanks, and obviously it's really good for the melee DPS. However, in the melee DPS groups, right now it would be better to use Wind Fury Totem and Tranquil Air Totem. Tranquil Air Totem reduces threat cost by 20%. And as you know, we have a couple of warriors who just like to go balls deep and get big passes. So I would definitely suggest using that over the Grace of Air, even though Grace of Air would give them a lot more damage, but it would also, it could also cause them to pull aggro on the boss. Especially in warrior groups. Warriors don't really have anything that can remove the threat once it's done, while rogues have feign and vanish and stuff like that. Therefore, in warrior specific groups, we want to be using Wind Fury Totem and Tranquil Air Totem. If we're in a rogue group, we could twist it with Grace of Air Totem instead and give them that extra damage because they can vanish and they can use feint if they get too much threat. You can also mix it in the fight so that you actually start off with, let's say you're in a rogue group or warrior group, you start off with the Wind Fury when the boss fight starts, and Tranquil Air. Just making sure everybody does that less threat for the first part of the encounter. Now once we're through the majority of the fight, or maybe even just the start, the first 10-20%, then you can start popping Wind Fury Totem and Grace of Air Totem, giving everybody that extra damage, even the warriors, since the first 10-20% they've been causing 20% less threat with all their damage, giving them a little bit of leeway to start doing some extra damage. As a shaman, this is something you can look into. You can look at the threat meters, you can see who's in your group, you can see who's going up and up and up on the threat meter, and if you see one in your group that's just doing way too much threat, just start twisting the Tranquil Air with the Wind Fury Totem. They'll still have the Wind Fury, which they love so much, but now they'll just be doing less threat, which is essential if you want to kill a boss, right? You can't have the DPS pulling aggro. So if anyone else is watching this, then Guildies, I hope you learned something as well. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you want to see more. Alright, see ya!